I believe that you should treat people the way that you want to be treated. Didn't Jesus say that? Yeah. Right. Also, always take a favor over money. I think Jesus said that as well.
But I don't know if he said the second one, but he might have said the first one.
Everybody thought, oh, Richie DeMaso's gonna stay in the office. I'm outside on the field. I got people working for me. My ideas. I'm running the show. I'm the quarterback, and I'm not gonna settle.
It's not for me to say.
He wasn't necessarily in good shape, and he had this comb over that was rather elaborate. He had this confidence that drew me to him.
Okay, Christian, so, all right, I got American Psycho, I got The Machinist.
Right.
Now I have this film.
Right.
Do you get off on physical transformation?
I get off on being obsessive about visualizing a character. And once I've got that in my head, I have to achieve it or else I don't feel like I can play it, you know? Do I get off on actually what it takes to do that? Holy crap, no, because it ain't fun. You know, I mean, putting on the weight for Irv is fun for a couple of weeks, and then after that, your body starts to rebel against you, you know? But it's not fun, but, you know, I enjoy obsession. I enjoy the craziness that you get to embrace in what I do, and I will take full advantage of that.
How did your wife feel about the Irv body?
She liked it because she looked tiny next to me. So she loved it. She wanted me to stay that way. And my daughter loved it as well. She could smack my belly, she could smack my head, she could grab my boobs, you know, because I had them at the time. So so they really enjoyed it.
Your hair, is that real or is that a wig?
Real.
So take me through that process every day of transforming. I mean, because I have curly Jewish hair, and it's a feat. Take me through your process of them putting all this stuff in your hair.
Show up, very long hair from Hangover. Didn't cut it after Hangover 3, so it was probably down to here maybe. So I wore it back in like 2 ponytails all the time, and then get to work, take it out, they'd wet it, put this dark mousse in, and then start to administer 110 rollers, and then sit under a heat lamp, and then 3 hours later, Richie is born.
I'm just a guy.
I'm just a girl.
You are just a girl. We're sitting in front of, well, I don't remember that one. Yeah.
That wants to know if you could love her back.
But when I was watching the film last night, I noticed there was a lack of female undergarment situation things going on.
Yes.
Now, what is that like? Because I know, like, women need that kind of thing. But was that freeing? Was that weird?
Well, it's 70s to not wear a bra, so that was something that, you know, I could never argue. In the costumes, I was like, yeah, but this is white, and it's tight. Yeah, but it's 70s. All right. No, I mean, yeah, no girl, I don't think it's very freeing. I don't think that I ever felt like, yay, I don't have a bra, and you can see the outline of my nipples. I feel so free. It was more of just kind of like, well, I guess this is what I'm doing.
Well, because it's part of what informs the character. So it actually helps you play this character who feels very emboldened and empowered by her sexuality, as opposed to feeling self-conscious at all.
So when you play a character like that, does that empower you as Amy? Like, does that come through, like, are you more like a chameleon? Does that come through in your own personal life?
No. I'm like, no. I mean, it does in a way. I think playing this, I'm kind of at a point in my life where I still believe in modesty, but in taking chances in my career, I'm cool with that, you know.
That makes me think. So, like, once you reach, because you're on the A list. So once you reach,
thank you. We never think of ourselves that way, do we?
Well,
I think I'm like B+.
B plus,
maybe.
Well, who's A list? You're on the A list. I'm putting it there.
Thank you.
So when you're in that upper echelon, then are you more cognizant about, well, maybe I shouldn't take this chance because it might be...
It's funny because I don't think about things like that. When I think about, like, doing nudity or something like that, I actually think about my daughter. And I'm like, does the script call for this in a way that I feel like when she's an adult I can have a discussion about it? Or am I just, just being naked, posting pictures of myself on Twitter or something? It's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just so old-fashioned. I'm always like, people look at this, right, girls? Like, you just put your booty on Instagram. People can see that.
And you know that I would never say anything bad about your father in front of you, but your father is a sick son of a bitch.
Daddy's a sick son of a bitch?
Don't repeat that. But yes.
Let's talk a little about the hair. First of all, your haircut, obviously, it made headlines around the globe.
Yeah, that was humiliating.
Global headlines. But you're rocking a pretty fierce hairdo in this film. How did that add to the character?
Rosalind was the most kind of with every the most like dependent on hair, makeup, and nails to create Rosalind. I've never done that as much with any other character. Has another character been as kind of dependent and created kind of from that before? But her hair was everything, because I was telling David when I read the script, I was describing who I thought Rosalind was. I was like, she watches TV from the time she wakes up till she goes to bed. She buys things off TV. She watches every infomercial. She's always has makeup on because she's always watching the makeup tutorials and how to do your own makeup and how to do your own hair. So she's always trying something and it's never working. So he kind of had this vision of the hair always flopped in front of her face, and I felt like that in the nails and in the clothes. It was kind of like Rosalind just started coming to life.
And the accent.
And the accent.
What's the key to doing that accent?
It honestly just kind of flew out of my mouth, and then I had a what's it called? A dialect coach who helped me because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm from Kentucky. I was basically just mimicking Jersey Shore, but we did have an issue because we were shooting in Boston, so I would hear the Boston accent, and that would be sometimes coming out. And so all of the Boston women in the hair and makeup trailer had to whisper when I was around because I would hear them and kind of pick it up.
You know, main theme of this film is reinvention.
Yes.
So I want to know, was there ever like a Madonna moment where Christian Bale decided to reinvent himself?
I feel like I do it all the time. I mean, that's the job that I've chosen, isn't it? You know, there's a reason for that. I grew up moving around many different towns, and I could reinvent myself. Before I started acting, I could reinvent myself however I wished because nobody knew my history at all. So I've been doing that my whole life anyway. And then I started deciding that I was actually going to pursue it as a career. So I do it nonstop.
I definitely, in my late 20s, I kind of took a good look around and realized I've been trying way too hard. I still am a hard worker. I still try hard. It's not like that, but it was motivated by the wrong things, whether it be in a relationship or whether it be in work. So I just simplified, and it seemed to turn out. Found a great guy and got Junebug kind of at the end of my 20s, so.
So is there like a sense of comfort now, you know, or do you still think like all this could go away at any moment?
It can for anybody, you know. Only because you just never know what the future holds. You never know. And so, I mean, I didn't start with this, so if I don't end with this, I just have to be okay with that, you know.
You're doing okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
I
Nice
really
talking to you.
enjoyed the movie.
Oh.
What about when you first heard the story? What was one of the things that shocked you the most about it, that you were like, holy shit, like I can't believe that this particular thing actually happened?
Well, you know, there's the factual story of Abscam, and how that went down, and how crazy it sounds that it actually worked initially. And then you've got the thing that really we took on board because we said, you know what, we're not so interested in the actual historical drama of it and the plot of it. We want to know the emotional part of it. We want to know the human story, the between the big important plot-driven scenes, what was going on then. And the thing that I had this sort of wonderful eureka moment is when I first saw the images of Mel Weinberg, who was the guy who Irv is based very loosely upon. And I want to reiterate that because Mel would punch me if he said it was him, because there'd be an awful lot about Irv he would say, that ain't me, Christian, don't you be saying it was me. And he's a wonderful guy, wonderful storyteller. I spent a couple of wonderful days with him. But his look is not what I expected. You know, I was expecting this suave, you know, debonair-looking con man, and Mel ain't that at all. And that was my holy shit eureka moment of, that's it, I've found the answer. This is how you play the guy. You figure out from the inside out, why did he become this rotund little roly-poly figure with the comb over, and then you've got him down. And that became my obsession.
Hey, play your part.
Fine. You play your part.
Did you ever have to find a way to survive. And you knew your choices were bad, but you had to survive.
We were so successful for so long because we kept it just small enough.
If you're that successful, how come you wound up in this room with me right now, taking orders from me?
What about the 70s do you think people are so enamored by?
Probably because it's captured forever in cinema and great movies. So I think you look back to that time period based on the music that came out of it, the movies, and then you think about, wow, the lifestyle must have been great.
We're doing a story on firsts, and I want to know, what is one of your first acting gigs or showbiz gigs that you can remember?
I remember exactly. The first gig ever was I was an extra on a Dell Computers commercial, and we worked weekends, so it was time and a half plus overtime. So I wound up making so much money, I couldn't believe it. And I was just throwing a football about 150 yards away from camera in a college field. That was the first gig I ever had.
And then how soon was Alias after that?
That was, I got that gig while I was still in grad school. So I graduated in 2000 and then worked as an actor for a year, and then met J.J. Abrams, put myself on tape, and then right before 9/11, we were shooting the series out in Los Angeles.
Is all this kind of stuff in movie making and what goes with it everything you thought it was going to be, or is it what has surprised you about?
There's been tons of surprises because I didn't really have an idea other than the magic of movies. So everything's been like, wow, from day one.
Is it weird, when, things, 'cause now there's social media and everyone has, I was thinking back then in the 70s, there wasn't people's camera
everything
phones.
was different. Everything was different than it was 6 months ago, or even a year ago. Or when I started Alias, everything was dial-up modem, and the idea of message boards and all that stuff, it wasn't like, there was a thing, what was it, Television Without Pity? Do you remember that? That's not even around anymore, right? Yeah.
Does it make it harder to be a successful actor when there is all this stuff and people with phones and all that stuff?
I think it's just a different dynamic. It's a different waters to swim in. They can be hard. It definitely teaches you to learn to be resilient. That's for sure. Because everybody has an opinion and now has a forum to voice it where others will read it and talk about it. So there's just a lot more cooks in the kitchen in terms of their opinion on what you're doing and how well or not you're doing it.
So how do you kind of not read into all that? And
I don't ever read reviews. I stopped reading reviews of movies I was in on, I think it was Limitless was the first time I didn't do it, and I have never done it since, and I like that. That's a nice thing.
Last question, is all this stuff and making movies and the paparazzi and all that shit
amazing?
Is it everything you thought it would be, and what surprised you the most about it?
No, it's not everything that you think it's going to be, because you think it's going to be annoying and then it kind of turns out to be scary. And you also forget that you also don't realize that the paparazzi at the end of the day are almost at the bottom of your list of problems. I think when you prepare yourself to be, famous or whatever, you expect that to be a part of your life, but you also forget that the entire world starts treating you differently and you don't feel any differently, and it's very alienating. And that's something that I never thought about.
Well, I like you.
Well, thank you.
This is Agent Damaso placing $75,000 into this briefcase for Mayor Carmine Polito.
We are gonna get it right, are we? We are gonna find the light! That's
We gotta get over on all these guys. That's what we need to be thinking about right now. We gotta get over on all these guys.
It's gotta be the best we've ever done.